Fitness motivation, how to get it, common misconceptions around it, why it is important to create it and not find it. Welcome back to the Coach Harris Show. Thank you so much for listening in as always. Today's going to be a solo episode where I'm going to talk to you all about motivation. I think I have some different perspectives, different takes on this concept than possibly others that you have listened to. So I think it is going to be worth the listen to really get a grasp of why motivation is often misinterpreted. So there's a lot of people with different thoughts here, right? Some people are, I think, all too focused on motivation, right? We get challenged by this a lot. We won't do anything. We won't take action. We won't start a workout until we feel motivated, right? Because in times in our lives, we feel that we need that excitement, we need that motivation to get going, which isn't true, right? There are many times, most of the time actually, where we need to simply do the work no matter how we feel. That is the practice. That is what any expert or pro or master of anything does, right? They do the work regardless of how they're feeling. But I don't want this to just be such an obvious statement because I don't think this is always that helpful, honestly. I think there's also a lot of inspirational people and other podcasts and other things saying, just be disciplined, motivation is bullshit, just go, 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 no matter what, right? And while in theory that's kind of true, we like motivation. We want to feel motivated. I love feeling motivated. I'm not going to tell you that motivation is complete bullshit and it doesn't ever matter. It does matter because when you're truly motivated, even if it's just a short-term feeling, I'm not saying it should or has to be there to do work, absolutely not. But even if it's just a short feeling, that feeling of motivation, of excitement, of being present, of being thrilled to be getting after what you're doing is, that feels like you're alive. It's an amazing feeling. And I want to feel that, and I want you to feel that as often as possible. So I don't think motivation is bullshit. I think in an ideal world, we would be motivated 24/7. Our lives would just be a blast, right? You'd always feel amazing. That doesn't happen though. So we have to learn to work around that and get the work done either way. But what I am going to talk about today, which is a little different, is I want to teach you a few perspectives to access motivation more readily, right? Again, another episode is going to be for just being disciplined, doing the work no matter what. That is the underlying theme. But what about when you know you're going to do the work regardless because you're a professional or because you are working on a habit and you're committed, but you would like to feel a little extra motivation when you can, We need to learn how to create the motivation, not find it, not take pills for it or supplements for it or pre-workout for it, right? That stuff can be fine, but it's a crutch, right? I love music, but it can be a crutch as far as fitness motivation goes. We need to create that motivation, and it starts in our head. Right now as you listen, or as soon as you're finished listening, is start to not just think, but deeply, deeply visualize the things you're grateful for about your body, about your health, about your fitness. And this isn't some kind of woo-woo mental trick stuff to get motivated. This is legit. This is serious stuff, right? If you want to create more motivation, more energy, you want to come at your workouts, come at your training with excitement. You want to wake up feeling fucking pumped to train. That might sound easy to you. Maybe that's how you are now. Or that might sound impossible. Like, how could you ever be that excited to exercise? It always is easier to find that motivation when you really deeply connect with how bad things could be or how lucky you are to have what you have, right? We may not feel excited to get out of bed and go run or go lift, but I bet you that if you start to not just think about, but really start to visualize what it would be like, and I know this is dark, but it's just true, it's life, if you were very sick, or if you were disabled, or if something terrible happened, because that's the reality. Unfortunately, there are many people who are not as fortunate as you and I are, right? And this is what I love to do on this podcast is I'm not just here to give you the basic stuff that you've heard a million times. This is serious shit. It really is. And this is why I love fitness and I love training, is because like at the end of the day, it doesn't need to be this complicated reason of why you should work out. Why do you need to come up with these goals? We can, like let's train because we can. Let's train for the people that would literally give everything they have in life to be able to walk, to be able to lift, to be able to exercise their lungs, but they can't because they're sick, or they can't because they have some kind of disability, or at least they can't to the capacity that they would like to. That gets me going. Right now, my hairs are standing up. I feel excited to go make the most of my health and my body right now because we can. All right, so that's what I want you to drill into your mind. And it's not going to be easy, right? This stuff takes work. Just like training takes work and doing hard things in that sense takes work, being able to access these perspectives often takes work. Because right now, I'm in your ear, right? You're listening to the words. Maybe you're feeling it. Maybe it's easy to start to visualize. But what about when you're alone, when you don't have this podcast in your headphones, and you are in a cold, dark room, waking up in the morning, and you need to go out and get your session in before you get on your first work call, but you just feel like out of it. You don't feel excited. You don't feel motivated. You're like, I'm going to push it off. I want you to practice these perspectives so when that time comes, it is easy to access. All right. First of all, I'm not perfect in this area. I have many days where I still am not able to access this stuff easily. I'm not going to say that I'm just not motivated, right? Because that's a lot of days. That's like all of us, like I said. But there's days where I feel like I'm failing because I know these perspectives. I know that people have much harder lives and much more challenging situations with their body and their health. But it seems so hard for me to access that enough to get myself going. But because I have seen these kind of people talk, I've seen their challenges, I've thought about this enough and practiced it, I think it's easier for me than many. And that's what I want for you, right? Is I want you to practice this skill, because it's a skill of being able to access these deeper thoughts in your mind easily and at will, right? You won't always feel motivated. We discussed this. You have to do the work if you want change, regardless of how you're feeling. But when you want the motivation, when you want to feel excited, when you want that, you have access to it all the time. But you need to be willing to go to that darker place, right? Before you can get the excitement, you have to think about the what if end. The what if things were worse? What if I didn't have all that I'm lucky to have? Right? You have to go into those places to get the gratitude out, to get the excitement out, to take advantage of your body, take advantage of your situation in whatever area you want to be motivated, right? I think that's a very important skill, an important practice, and I think it is reliable because we can always access that. We can shift our perspective, shift our way of thinking, and get after it from there, all right? Finally, I will end this episode with this because I think this is an important thing to never forget when we're chasing goals or chasing progress, and that is wanting more for ourselves, wanting to make actual big change. While it's something I think everybody should do, it's an audacious goal, right? We have a lot of audacity. It's a lot to ask to make huge changes in our body, in our physiques, in our performance, right? To put that stress on our body to change, to put those challenges on certain areas of our life to make change, right? Our bodies don't want to progress into these amazing places naturally, right? We want to just kind of survive. We want to be as we are and survive. So to make big changes is audacious. When you understand that, you'll understand that it takes actual work, a lot of work through all the rough patches, right? And if you are going to let little bumps, little challenges, little days off, little days of feeling crappy discourage you from practicing and make you want to give up, then I don't know if you're ready to take on that kind of goal right now. All right. I'm not saying you're going to be happy about it. I understand those shitty days and shitty moments suck. But they can also be amazing when you understand that that is a part of it, and that's a part of any audacious big goal. Okay? The people that, whether they're motivated or not, I don't care. It doesn't matter, honestly. They get the work done. They get the outcomes that they want, but more importantly, they do the practice, right? They are the kind of person that becomes who they want to become because they practice the things often, mostly daily. And those people are very aware of how audacious it is, I'll keep using that word because I think it's very relevant, to want so much more for yourself. And because of that, they know that they shouldn't complain when things get hard. And they shouldn't expect easy situations because it shouldn't be easy to make such big changes. Right? And I think if and when you understand that fully, it'll make the road a lot easier because you'll be able to get motivated and excited about a lot of the boring, mundane things, knowing that that is what you have to do to become the person that you want to become. Right? I truly hope this makes an impact on you. I think it should if you're struggling with any of this. As always, reach out to me if you have any questions, harris@coachedbyharris.com. If you want to see things like this in written form directly to your inbox, my email list is a great place. I send almost daily emails with motivation, strength tips, just as this in written form. And that's also where I connect on coaching ideas, podcasting, updates. All of those things will be sent to my email list first. The information's down below. If you get on there, welcome. Hope you're doing amazing today, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care.